Hello TVR Universe, I am Dave, and in this week's live stream we're going to kill flies, kill mosquitoes. I'm going to give you absolute value. Let's check it on. Welcome. And in this week's video, I'm going to be telling you, going through the stages of how to make your videos here on YouTube. If that sounds interesting to you, smash the subscribe button. And what are we waiting for? I'll tell you what we're waiting for. You're waiting for me to give you value. So the first thing, as I get the keyboard out of the way, I'm going to crack on some value. What? There we go. Absolute value. Okay, so the first thing you want to think about is the idea. Now, this might sound obvious to those of you that have been around YouTube a while, but for those of you that are new here, this is why I want you to think about the idea. Now, we all have ideas when it comes to video, otherwise we wouldn't be here. But how to process that. So what I would think then, or what I would say to you to start to think is, can you do that? You know, if you need like a budget to make it, is it sort of, realistic? But we're talking more specifically about YouTube videos and stuff like that. So if you're thinking, right, I've got a really cool idea where, depending on what your channel's about, let's just use gaming, for example. I want to make a really cool video about how to take on a certain boss on a particular game. So that's, a pretty standard idea. So you think, right, how can I make that happen? Now, the obvious way, you could sort of, you could stream you playing the game and then record it, or record you playing the game with a camera following you, or perhaps you could be more creative and you could perhaps take people on a journey, film yourself talking about what's going on in the video. And then I want you to then think of the process of the video. So more specifically in YouTube video. So you want to think about, the intro, or more specifically the hook, which us YouTubers like to call it. So something that just grabs people's attention. And then I want you to think about, what thumbnail you want, what title you want to use for your video. In this particular live stream, I've literally gone with how to make video, because I'm just doing a little experiment, which I may talk about later on. But and then from that, what I would highly recommend to get views on this particular video is perhaps type in your idea or the phrase of your idea into YouTube and see what comes up. This could be something that's really cool. You could think, right, how can I make this more interesting? And you might type in, the key phrase that is, to do the idea, and YouTube will come up with at least 10 phrases of similar things that other people have typed in, and that's something people have actually, came up with. So I would highly recommend making that potentially the title of your video, and then to add to the human element, perhaps add something to the title to make it gripping. See it like a newspaper clipping, for example, or, when you're looking on the news, there's always that title like, not to sound drastic, but 10 dead found in street, or something. It's something that grabs your attention, like, oh, what's happened there? So try to think of it like that to grab people's attention. I'll be brutally honest, this is something that I'm always learning. Even the best and most professional YouTubers are always learning, and will admit that. And then I would like to say that I would think of the thumbnail. Now, I technically make the thumbnails later, and we'll perhaps talk about that later, but I would definitely start to think, thinking of this idea, start to think what your thumbnail might look like. So even if you haven't made it yet, you might want to perhaps have a mess about of it, or if you make it down the road, start thinking in your head, this idea, how could it look as a thumbnail. If you're somebody who prefers to write things down, or I know there's lots of filmmakers out there that like to use like storyboards and stuff, go for it. I personally, I'm not really good at drawing, so I tend to more or less know in my head how I want it to go. I then tend to do bullet points, and that's what gets to in a moment. It makes it much easier to film. So bear that in mind. So if you're getting value so far in this video, don't forget to check out some of our merch. We've got mugs, we've got t-shirts, we've got loads of merchandise, and I'm debating about designing some new merch that may come in a few weeks, so look out for them. Just before we carry on, I'm just going to have a brief look to see who is here. Magical! Hello, Brad. Welcome to the Blue Room. Actually, I might just leave that on for a second. So basically, once you've got your idea, you want to start to think, right, how can I film this? Now, the next thing I want you to think about is, are you better with a script or bullet points? That's the two next things I want you to think about. Write this down. If there's going to be a lot to get through, but it's going to be really full of value. So get a notepad or a note file on your tablet or someone else's phone, or get your laptop out, or whatever it takes, and just jot down some of the things I'll talk about today, because this is some of the things I want you to think about when producing your video. So you've got the idea, you've got it in your head, you might be someone that draws it out like a storyboard. That's fine. And then I want you to start to think of where and when. So when you're going to film it, so make time for the video. So you're not literally just filming it any time, think, right, tomorrow I'm going to film it, or the weekend, or whenever you have a bit of free time. And there may be a small proportion of you that go, Dave, I haven't got time. Well, in the nicest possible way, make time. The way I look at it is, if you want to make it serious on YouTube, if you want to grow your channel, you've got to take your channel like a job, or school, or college, or university, or any sort of commitment, a relationship even. It really is the relationship that you have for your fans, your viewers. You're building the community around your channel. But that's I'm getting on a bit of a tangent there. But basically, make time for your channel. Set aside some time every week where you'll be working on your channel, responding to comments. Make sure you got the YouTube Studio app. I know I'm just going about this briefly, but basically the point I'm trying to get is make time. And if you make time, just make it part of your life, it will become far easier. You think, that's fine. Like I tend to use like Tuesday nights as sort of, I try to watch as many of your videos. For you regulars that watch this live stream, I try to watch as many of your videos as possible. I try to set some time aside on Tuesday nights. So that's probably when you notice I comment more, or respond to comments on my own channel, perhaps update certain things, like I'm debating about updating the brand. Now, I'm not getting off topic. I'm just, I want you to appreciate there's a lot of stuff that goes into being a YouTuber or filmmaker. Now, if you're someone who's making a film, you might want to think of like locations, maybe go scouting. When I made films in the past, when I want to make it a bit more serious and make it more professional, I go, right, I'm going to spend a morning or an afternoon or possibly even a day just driving about. We all know different places. Maybe find some quiet locations where you won't be bothered by too many public people, stuff like that. Look around for weather if you want to film outside. Outdoors tends to be more exciting. For those of you that watched my Tuesday's video, awesome. If you haven't, go watch after this live stream. And I think for those of you that have watched it, or any video or film that's filmed outside, it just feels more, I don't know, like the person's put more effort in it automatically, especially in a YouTube video, just comes across more professional, like you put more effort in. And as much as I love to always do that, I think it's nice that I just do it occasionally, like the series I'm making in a minute, because then you tend to find people go, oh wow, he's really put more effort into a particular video. So think about these sort of things. Make the time, make the video, and then from there, off you go. However you do it, test scripts or bullet points. I use bullet points, and this is the main reason. One, I find it far easier to record. Using bullet points, because then I can look at each bullet point and I know roughly, I don't even do word for word, I sort of say roughly what I want to say, and then I'll do a little comment like talk about whatever it is that I'm talking about. And then, for example, I will have like a hook. The intro will be, if I decide to have an intro, though I highly recommend you have as short intro as possible, if any at all. YouTube analytics always proves that the smaller the intro, the more people watch your video, or they just don't skip, because most people just skip it. Yourself, when you're watching on streaming services, your favourite, once you've watched like 10 episodes, you tend to start skipping the intro because you just want to get on with it. And YouTube's no different. People, especially on their phones, are far more impatient. They just want to get on with the value, and that's what you want to bring them to them. And then I get what I call the value stage, and then I have like 3 or 4 up to 10 bullet points. I record each one 2 or 3 times, and I'll get to this in a second why I do that. And then quite often the first one's the best, but not always. Or I think, I really like this, and then when I come to edit it later, I don't like it, and I use a different shot of that. And then the reason I do that personally, I think everyone has to find their own way of doing it, is when I come to edit, it makes it far easier. For example, if I was going to edit one of these live streams, I would find it a little bit daunting because I know there's probably times where perhaps waffle a little bit about certain things, and I could probably do it now, but back in the day, you know, or for a lot of you, especially if you're not, you know, if you're new to this, value. If you're new to this, you'll get a lot of waffle and it just takes far longer to edit. And I'm all about not rushing. I don't believe in that, but I do think you want to make this process as easy and as enjoyable as possible. So if you've only got 2 or 3 shots, you can see with your bullet points, right, I've got 2 or 3 of them. You just watch them, pick the best one, right, that's the hook. You got your intro. And then you got your value where you've recorded yourself on each one 2 or 3 times. If it even takes 10 times, doesn't matter. You just watch each one, put it together, cut the end, the 2 ends of each clip, edit it all together, put transitions if you want to be clever, put your subscribe buttons as we all do as YouTubers, you know. And before you know it, you got the end of the video. And at the end of the video, you know, you want to sort of say, oh yeah, what's the end, to see the end cards and all this thing. And that's something I've started to do on live streams. You may have noticed later that they come on about a day later. And then from that, it's sort of like, you know, then you can do something to have end cards. You maybe have a little bit of extra video that I sometimes do, or you'll see here, I don't know if you can see that, no, this side, I've got a bit of branding, and I quite often use that on the top of the video. I'll make it a bit smaller, sort of like that. And then underneath have the end cards and the subscribe, and you'll be thinking, flip it out. And this is what I'm saying, write it down. There's a lot to get through. There's a lot that goes into making a YouTube video, and if you're making a film, even more goes into it. If you want to make it any decent, if you literally from the ground, and I've done that as well, I've literally gone, right, I want to go to such and such place, film, and then I'm going to edit it. And I have done that. I have made a couple of cool films that used to be on the channel, just by going, right, I just fancy filming, and then I edit it and put music on it, and before I know it, I got a film. But my best films, when I used to, and I don't want to say used to, because I will probably make films again at some point, but just think, you know, just think of all that. Anyway, let's get back to the value. Let's rein it in, Dave. Absolute value. Right, let's see. Very, very true. It's very good to see the usual Tuesday videos coming back. I completely agree. I love the Tuesday videos. I'll perhaps get into that later on the after show. Right, so video gear. Okay, so you want to think about what gear you want. Start with what you got. You know, if you're new to this, start with what you've got. You know, use your phone. You can get really cool lighting and microphones that you can clip to your phone. If I highly recommend you get a tripod with a phone adapter that just clips your phone in and sticks on top of a tripod. I highly recommend one of them, and you can get one for like £10-15 or dollars. It's not expensive. I've actually got some really cool links to cameras, lighting, microphones, tripods, things you may find you'll get value from. Check them out in the description, and go and check them out at any point to give you some value. But that's something you want to think about. And then once you've got your gear, then you can go. No matter where you're filming, if you're filming indoors, outside, you're all prepared, you've got your bullet points, and off you go, and you can film your video, and however you're doing it to make it as easy as possible for you, whatever method. And feel free, actually, question of the day then, how do you prepare for videos? Are you somebody that just goes off and makes whatever, or do you really plan and take the time to write scripts or bullet points and overly think about it? Feel free to comments below. I'll be really interested to hear how you prepare and make your videos. This would be really interesting to see. So yeah. so anyway, this is a brief break. I'm Dave from TVR Creators, and I make weekly YouTube and video tips help you build your brand here on YouTube. If that sounds interesting to you, subscribe now and buy yourself a mug for value. Absolute value. Right, I've got some YouTube questions actually. just to sort of break it up a bit for you guys. Let's see. Feel free to add any questions you want into the live chat. Now, the first question is, it was from Instagram the other week. It said, what is the best time to film? The best time to film. That's an interesting one. I would say, as I pretty much just said, film when you're ready. You know, don't rush. If I could give any wise words of wisdom to any of you that are out there want to make a video, be prepared. Don't just go off and just do anything. Be prepared. Try to put a bit of process into what your video is about, and more importantly, who's your video for, and that's just something to bear in mind. Next question was from Twitter, and it was what is the best project or video you can what is the best project or video you've ever filmed? Ooh, I might have to hurt some feelings. Wow. Well, I'm very proud of my Titan films that really only family and friends got to see. I did them on DVDs and stuff. Very proud of them. Very proud of all the work I've been doing here on the channel over the last year, helping you guys, growing this community, meeting some fantastic YouTubers. I'm beating around the bush really, but I'll tell you what, I think probably what I'm most really proud of actually, and you can watch both of them on my films playlist at the bottom of the channel at the moment, is my new remake of my film Real, which is about PTSD. That many of you may know people that suffer with that, and it was an issue that I wanted to highlight in a different way. So go and check it out. And I also made a film called Dyslexia, which, you know, title pretty much gives it away. It's about dyslexia, but I wanted to spin it on a more positive note. So I wanted to make it more interesting. I didn't, because I tend to find a lot of things on dyslexia. Yes, I have dyslexia. Smash the like button if you have dyslexia. Oh yeah. And I wanted to make just a short film that was just positive, showing the positive sides of dyslexia, because most things you watch on YouTube or on TV in general tend to be all, you know, end of the world and you know, your life's over, and it's not. And loads of great people that have gone very far in life have dyslexia. So go and check out both those films later on if you so wish. Right, we've got another question. How long have you been editing? Well, on YouTube, in video in general, I don't know if that was a bit vague, but editing, for argument's sake, since 2006. I think I did a bit of filming and editing in 2005. Obviously, I filmed plays and stuff, but I filmed a play for college. Well, technically other people filmed it, I edited it, back in the days of DV tapes, and it took me about a week over Easter, I believe. And that was the first project that I really had lots of different clips of each scene. It was like making a professional film. And I learned probably more doing that than actually doing media studies at college. In a nice possible way, as much I learned about stuff in media studies, I'll be honest, no, most of the stuff I've learned is self-taught. and doing that first project really gave me an understanding of how to edit and how to use transitions and all that sort of jazz. And feel free to put in the comments below your first project. If you've got any questions, feel free to put them in the live stream. And the final question till I get on with the rest of the value. Where did you learn about lighting? Interesting question. I don't believe we've had this on the live stream. Well, I did a lot of drama at school growing up, and did drama at college as well. But I would say I probably learned the most about lighting when I did work experience at my local theatre. God rest his soul, I believe is now not with us, the guy who taught me. And then I became a member for a year or two, and I had some of the best times learning about lighting and setting up lights for stage and plays. And it was the first time I actually did everything but acting, so it was really nice to experience something different around the theatre. And I learned all about sounding and front of house and all that. Really, really loved it. But But yeah, I learned probably the most from lighting. And funny enough, more recently, actually, doing these videos every week for the past year, I've learned a lot. I sort of wish I had what I've learned doing this. Because I've only been doing these value videos for about a year, though some of you may not have been on YouTube forever. It was very sort of hit and miss and come and go type of thing, where May last year I decided I really want to make something of this channel and grow a community and help others with, you know, with their learning their skills and stuff. And I learned so much about lighting just doing these videos. You know, the best way to shoot, having glasses, how much of a pain that is, loads of stuff. So I hope that answers all your questions. Right, if you're only just joining us, I'm Dave from TVR Creators, and I make weekly YouTube and video tips to help you grow here on YouTube. If that sounds interesting to you, subscribe now. And you know what? I just can't resist. Oh no! You're going to get value from this video. Well, that's what I love about live TV. That serves me right, trying to be clever. Right, value, editing, right? These are my tips for editing, right? I would say try and get some freebies. If you're more comfortable on either your phone or computer or Mac or whatever, I wouldn't bother testing out other devices. I would just look at editing software or free software on the device that you're most happy with. So if it's on your phone, just go on your Play Store or Apple Store or whatever, and just test out 2 or 3 bits of software. Test them out. I've got complete Dumbledore over what they're called now, but I know Adobe does a very good one. And there's loads of other, like Final Cut. There's one. I've been completely dumb with all the names, but basically just try a couple and see which ones work best for you, because what I like and what you like will be completely different. Sorry, and you know, use Final Cut if you're on an Apple. If you're a PC user like me, you know, I recommend Premiere Elements or even Premiere Pro if you want all the trimmings. Value. I use Magic. I love Magic. If Magic ever watches this, I love your software. Touch wood, purely because it's simple. And when I'm making what I was talking about earlier about making things as easy as possible, and you probably know is on most YouTube videos there isn't all fancy this and that. It's literally just simple transitions and a program that doesn't crash, and that's why I love Magic. So I would highly recommend that. That ain't sponsored by any means. Go and check it out. It's brilliant. It only costs about £50 or about $55 or whatever, but I would highly recommend it. And a big shout out actually to all the Americans of the world. I just want to say that briefly because I have noticed that most of you guys are American. Now I know there's some of you from India and Singapore and Canada and obviously the UK, but I have noticed that more and more of you from the US. So I'm just going to do a shout out to you. Because I can. But yeah, I would say on editing, and I've got loads of great tutorials on that, so if you want me to go into more detail, go and check them out after this live stream. But just briefly, just find a program that works for you, and going briefly back, if you use bullet points, this is just my personal preference, but if you film 2 or 3 of each one, it just makes it so much easier to edit. So when you come to editing, you haven't got loads of garbage that you have to delete or work out what you should and shouldn't keep in. You've got a much better idea. Now if you scripted it, that's fine, but I just find for me, I've done a lot of acting over the years. I've never been a fan of learning lines, and it never comes across as natural as I feel it should, especially when I just ramble like I'm doing now. So I would highly recommend just using a program that's good for you. Right, uploading to YouTube. Right, for those of you that don't know, I've noticed that YouTube has updated the way I do live streams. I've just noticed they've changed the settings so you can add tags and everything before you upload, which is really cool, because before you had to do that after you went off the air. I believe, I haven't worked out how to do it yet, but I believe you can actually do a trailer for your live streams. So if you want to set them up on a schedule, there's like a trailer to sort of, you know, show off what the video is going to be about, that sort of thing. That's something you might want to think about. That's different to the channel trailer. I don't know if that's going to be on all channels or just on certain channels, so look out for that. And I've noticed they've changed a few of the things within the settings, stuff like that. I'll perhaps talk about that more if I do an after show. and just go through all the difference, you know. So you've got your title, you put that in, you put your description, definitely have some cool links if you haven't already, you know, make your own merch, do affiliate links if you can. I've gone a bit rusty on that at the moment, so I need to get back into that. But yeah, just have links to your social media. If you've got a website, you know, because you never know, you know, you might, just for argument's sake, you have 100 people watch a video, or even 50 people, even 10 people. One or two of them will go in your description and think, oh, I really like this channel. I really want to check this person out. Like today, I came across a creator that seemed really cool. I think they're from London, actually. Maybe you're watching this very live stream. Hello to you. You'll know who you are. I think you're called Nicole, I want to say, but I might be in double-doored. Anyway, brilliant channel. Love what they do. They do a bit of all sorts, is what I would say. But because I was quite impressed with this channel, I thought, oh, I want to link up with them on Instagram and Twitter. I'm on there as well. So, you know, those sort of things. You know, so think about all those sort of things in your setting out, and I'll perhaps do a video to go into that into more detail. But, you know, just make sure that you're not breaking any copyright. You know, don't use, I know loads of people do, but you guys know better because you guys are awesome. Don't use copyright music, as hard as it, you know, we might want to use our favourite songs. Don't, all that sort of stuff. Don't put sub for sub and all that stuff. There's a fantastic audio library actually that you can download, lots of free songs. Just mention their song like I've done in my description, and there's lots of free ones that have been made for us YouTubers, and you can edit them into your videos, trailers, whatever, and it's just a great safe way. And there is Emendetic Sounds and lots of other good sites, and even channels, but be careful with channels because sometimes you don't always know where their music came from, so look into them before you use them. But just to be safe, the YouTube audio library is just a great safe way to get free music. And personally, I mean, I wouldn't say I was a music expert. Another reason I like Magic, you can actually make your own music if you feel you can do that, or if you're a musician, if you might be a musician, you could do your own. But I would highly recommend that if you just want a backing track or just a bit of music. Anyway, I'll just highly recommend it. It's just really, really good. Right, let's just have a brief look to see. Oh, sorry. It's fired up, people. Hello, Rose. Hello, welcome. Hello, everyone. Brad's there. Hello, Brad. Hello. Sorry, my phone changed it. Hello. Hello, welcome. Yeah, so I would highly recommend doing all those things. If you've got any questions, please put them in the live chat, as I feel like I'm miles away, so I'm just going to move my chair. Right, I am going to do a brief after show where I'm just going to talk about a few things briefly. Hello. So yeah, anyway, I'm Dave from TVR Creators, and I make weekly YouTube tips to help you build your brand. If that sounds interesting to you, subscribe now. And if you've got value from today's video, smash the like button, join me in the green room where we can talk about all sorts of things. I'll give you a few updates within the community. And if you watch this on the replay, thank you again as well. For any of you, if you're new here, if you've been here for a while, please feel free to put me a comment below how long you've been watching my channel. Just be really interesting to know. And I'll talk about a few more things in the after show, but I just want to say that you guys rock. Let's do it together now. You guys rock. And you know what? Go buy one of my mugs because you've got value. Oh, absolute value. Right, after show time. No idea what that's about. Right, so hello Brad in the live chat. Hello Rose, welcome. If you've got any questions, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Feel free to watch. If you've been here the whole time, awesome. If you missed a bit, don't worry about it. Today I've just been talking about what some of the things to think about when making your video. I've sort of skimmed over a few things. I've got loads of videos where I go into more detail, but I just wanted to just make a sort of a brief idea. And you're probably thinking, why is the title so short? I just want to try something different. I'm a strong believer as us creators, we have to experiment. And I tend to find with longer, more appealing titles, you know, it gets searched more on YouTube and on Google. and people prefer that. But occasionally I come across videos that I've literally put a very basic title and they also get quite a lot of views. So I just thought I'd try something really vast, go against everything I teach and what other pros teach, and just do something different and just see what comes of it. I might even kill the live stream off it. I don't know yet. I'll see what mood we're in. Anyway, some of the updates. I've noticed YouTube has made some updates to when you start your live streams, just making it easier, adding in some of the things that we normally have to add in afterwards, which makes our life a bit easier. I've noticed there's been a few bugs over the last week, but I believe they've been sorted. Stuff like that. There's loads of stuff going on. If you haven't already, go and join us on our TVR Creators YouTube community over on Facebook if you want, and feel free to share your videos and join in the community. I've got about 100 people there at the moment. It's really cool, where I share what's going on at the moment, that sort of jazz, and feel free to do the same. I try to drop in occasional tips and stuff like that. Occasionally I'll do like a live feed on there that's sort of just for the community, so feel free to join. For any of you watching, feel free to join. Also, I would say if you want to connect with us on Twitter and Instagram, be my guest and do that. If you want to support the brand, subscribing is a great way to do it, or getting one of our merch, or just being here, just watching our videos. And it's just brilliant, and I'm just really enjoying what's going on at the moment here on YouTube. There's some really good stuff, and for those of you that have been watching, enjoying my new series, thank you so much. I've had some really nice feedback on the first episode. It was absolutely brilliant, and I've got a lot of value out of it. I've got one more episode to film and edit, but don't worry, I'm a couple of weeks ahead of myself, so there's 2 more episodes. They're ready to go, and that will be on this Tuesday, 7 o'clock. For those of you that are watching the replay, I will add the end card, because I don't believe you can do that yet until about a day later, once YouTube has processed the video. So after this is finished, there'll be 2 awesome end cards that will give you even more value. So feel free to click on them, and it'll be what YouTube thinks you might like here on the channel. Also, probably the playlist of more of my live streams if you got value from this type of content. And so anyway, have a great weekend. Enjoy whatever it is that you're doing. And as always, guys, I am Dave from TVR Creators, and I honestly hope that you have a fantastic weekend. And for those of you that hear about every week, I can't wait to watch your videos. See you again, and you guys rock.